We have Waffle Sensei here. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciated. Destiny, you want to read this one?
Hi, Destiny. If Tate is bad for presenting masculinity as owning camgirl sites, is it bad for women to present femininity as doing OnlyFans and camgirl content?
What do you think?
I think the issue is, I could be wrong, but I don't know of OnlyFans girls saying that OnlyFans is destroying the world. But the Tates seem to believe that OnlyFans is destroying the world, that like men simping for women are. So when you engage in that industry, it seems a little hypocritical. I'm not saying that running a cam business is wrong, except when you do it by sex trafficking. What I'm saying is that it's probably wrong to do that and then to come out later and be like, these are the worst things happening to society when you've been like one of the biggest players contributing to it.
Yeah, it's hypocritical. Mm-hmm. To get back to the question, is it bad for women to present femininity as doing OnlyFans and camgirl content? To reframe that a bit, a lot of girls that do OnlyFans, they talk about how liberated they are and how they feel so empowered by it in kind of like a feminist mindset.
When we get into like sex work, that's a really complicated question, to borrow the nuanced answer. In some ways, it can be empowering, and in other ways, I think it's kind of scary to sell that as empowerment. In a way, it's almost like asking, like, should poor people be allowed to sell kidneys for $1 million? Because in one way, like, it's an escape from poverty and it's really empowering. And in other ways, it's like, is that like the message you want to send, that your path to success is through selling parts of your body? There's really good arguments on both sides of that. I would say that, like, I think, and every woman will agree, that works in the industry, OnlyFans is a huge improvement over what was before. And I will say that the way that...
Prostitution?
No, men making money off of it. I will say that there's a very interesting phenomenon that I've observed, that at every stage of a sexual transaction, as long as the man is in control of it, nobody gives a fuck. But as soon as the woman is in control of it, people start to have really huge problems with it.
I don't think that's the issue.
I can totally give you great examples of this, right? We can watch pornographic movies. I know on Twitch there are games that have like porn scenes in them, and when people see this, everything's cool. You can play The Witcher 3 and everybody's like, oh yeah, fucking boob scene. But if a woman goes on Twitch and cosplays as one of those, like, fuck this booby girl, it seems to be that there's a huge case that when women are in charge of the paychecks, we start to have a really big problem with.
I see the point that you're... Hold on. Mm-hmm. I see the point that you're making. My disagreement would be, the issue is that now that the paychecks have been put in the hands of the women and pornography... Am I allowed to say that? Pornography? Yeah. Pornography has been decentralized, right? Now it's like it's been democratized and anybody can get into it, right? You're saying before the paychecks were in the hands of the men and nobody had a problem with it.
We didn't really care. Like, where was all the ragging against porn like 10 years ago, you know?
The problem that I have with it isn't necessarily that the paychecks are in the hands of the women. It's that when the COVID pandemic happened, like tons of women all across the country started doing OnlyFans because they wanted to provide for themselves. And like now, it's like now that the floodgates have been opened, so many women who never would have been doing porn in the first place are now doing it because it's easy and accessible. That's the problem I have with it.
I feel like it's not that many.
Dude, it's a ton.
I hate to do this.
I didn't know. What do you think is like the
percentage of like
Destiny,
women?
I didn't know any girls that were into pornography before the COVID pandemic happened, and now I've met like 12.
Sure, but like, what do you think is like the percentage of women that do it? If you had to guess.
I don't know.
Do what?
That do like OnlyFans.
2%.
The
percent increase is more interesting, I think.
Very small percentage.
Yeah, it's a very, very, very small minority of people. Like, I'm sure that more got into it for sure, but like more men also pursued like YouTube channels and pranks and shit like that. Now you can argue, I guess you might think that OnlyFans is worse than like trying to be a YouTuber or whatever.
Yeah, but you know what really sucks is the fact that people are going into it before even ever trying to have a career. Women are going into it at the age of 18. The moment they turn 18, the moment the clock strikes 12, they're already on that OnlyFans shit.
Yep.
And the fact that that's such a thing, that all these women, all these young women are just selling themselves short rather than going to school, doing all that, resorting to selling their sexuality is just disgusting. It's terrible.
I agree 100% with what you're saying, but you also just described conservative relationships. That when a girl turns 18, her goal is to sell her sexual virginity to a man and then forego all career building in order to...
But she's not selling anything.
That's what?
It's a beautiful
thing.
That's a little extreme. That's like
it's
saying...
It's not extreme at all. Everything that she just said applies to a woman that says, I'm not going to go to school, I'm not going to build...
Wait.
In a way, you are. You're hitching your wagon to a man.
Wait, hold on. There's a large percentage of women that are like, yeah, I just don't want to be a hoe. And then like you're comparing them to like a woman wanting to do OnlyFans, which is like hoe max.
Yeah, there's
obviously there's
any comparison between a woman who wants to have a relationship with a man or get married to him and have kids with him to a woman that's doing OnlyFans.
Yeah. What I'm saying,
totally different things.
They're different. That's why it's a comparison. I'm not comparing two of the same thing.
But what I'm saying was selling themselves for a guy.
What I'm saying is that she was saying that it's sad that women get into OnlyFans because they don't even try entering the educational fields or entering the job market, and then they fuck up their life. How many women that start dating conservative guys and then get pregnant at 19, 20 are now in arguably a worse position because of the same
people
type of
who
problem?
hold traditional conservative values would know that you're not supposed to get like That's like you're supposed to marry someone.
I
You're supposed to
understand what
marry
you're
question
saying,
of
and
what
I'm
value
gonna.
you're
I
putting
hate
for
to. I hate to
society.
do this, and I'm not. I don't want to be mean to you, but I'm gonna pull the age card a little bit. At 18 or 19, you're not even old enough to have conservative values because you don't even know what life is like.
That's
So,
not true.
but-
I hold on. I know a lot of women
Go ahead.
that have authentically conservative values in that 18 to 22-year-old range, and they have it because they were raised in families where their
you
parents
should know
actually
that.
raised
And I
them
know
up
a
to be
lot of
this
those
way.
women that try those relationships, and after 5 years, they're fucking miserable, and they're
And
like,
that-
"I fucking ruined my life getting with this conservative
That
guy."
sucks, but
Got pregnant, had
that's
kids.
not
When I-
all,
when I
that's
say-
not all of them.
Sure,
You're
that's
painting
not-
it as
no,
if
no,
it's like
I
the
know, I
rule,
understand,
but
I
it's
understand,
their
I understand.
exception.
But what I'm saying is you can't have conservative values when you're 18, 20. What I'm saying is like conservative values imply some outlook of the world and seeing yourself and how you want to be situated in that world. And at 18 or 19, you don't really know. You have no idea.
And also
you
not all
think they
women-
don't really know, but a lot of these women do.
They don't have the experience yet to know,
but
right?
if we were to like weigh it out like one versus another, like a woman abiding by conservative rules, conservative values, getting married, having kids, like the negative outcome is completely way heavier on the girl saying like, yeah, I'm 18, I want to post like naked photos of myself getting fucked by dudes and all this stuff.
Wait, I
Like,
want to ask this really clearly because that's a phenomenal
Yeah,
statement.
and some
Yeah.
girls
If you're
join at
18 or
17.
19, you think it's a bigger mistake to start and close an OnlyFans account than to start a relationship with a guy and have a kid at 18 or 19?
if I were to be a betting man across those two outcomes, yeah, I would bet on the girls.
I would
taking an
wager you against that with
Absolutely.
huge
That's so
odds.
crazy.
So
There's
I
no. That's
because I understand.
Don't bail him out. Let him
No,
go.
that's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
It's the
But-
situation you're presenting. It's
because
false.
you're saying that like because the greatest indicator of poverty is unplagued pregnancy and
Yep.
early pregnancy. I get that. that. But I mean, just in like a common sense way, like to sit there, like you really have to jump through a bunch of like hoops mentally to be like, okay, like I guess I can rationalize this girl posting full blown nudity on her OnlyFans for the world to see. But like the majority of human history has like had women who have been like, yeah, I'm just gonna abide by these conservative values, maybe have a kid, hey, you know what, maybe it fucks up, whatever. But like this new phenomenon, like, yeah, let me just be a whore on OnlyFans, like to say that has less of a like negative
Yeah, I don't think
impact
there's not
on
mental
society.
gymnastics.
Just a negative impact in society in general versus a woman. It's like, yeah, I just want to be like a decent woman and get married and have kids and like not be
Yeah.
a naked whore online.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you're the problem is that if you make a mistake by doing OnlyFans, you're only hurting your life. If you make the mistake by having a child early on, now you're ruining your kid's life too.
Well, I think
and you're
it's
right in
arguably
that.
way more damaging to society because
Yes,
where do all the criminals come
absolutely.
from? Where do all the broken
You're
families
right,
come from?
you're
Where does
right.
all our government
Yep.
welfare go?
Single
right?
mother,
All
single
of it
mother.
doesn't go to OnlyFans girls.
Single
it
mother.
goes to single mothers.
You're right.
But you're
Yeah.
assuming a divorce happens.
But I'm saying if you took
Or the
every
man leaves.
let's say we could flip a switch in society and we could either say every single mother in society started and stopped an OnlyFans, or every single OnlyFans girl tried to shack up and get pregnant at 18 or 19. What do you think would have made for the better society?
the ones shacking up for sure.
Okay, that's phenomenal.
Okay, so hold on.
Yeah.
Let's take a step back.
The ones who are like, I
Hold
want to
on,
wait,
please,
wait, hold
please.
on, just hold on. The point of like, I want
This is so
to get
pointless.
married and do my best to keep a family together and abide by Christian rules, and like my husband is the provider, and I want to be like a Proverbs 31 woman, and I want to do my best to like maintain a healthy family, and like
I mean, if you do it all perfectly, it works, of course.
no, and we're not saying perfection, but I'm saying like you're really telling me that a woman who's like, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna take a risk, get married, because like that's been happening across the globe, across cultures.
Yeah, but the
for
world
the
is
longest
different
time
today.
years. For
Education
thousands
is
of years.
important today.
Okay, hold
Back
on,
in the
hold on.
day,
Before you make that
thousands
point,
of
before you
Go,
make that
Chase.
point,
Yeah, give it to us. Preach, brother.
you're presenting. Thank you. You're presenting this dichotomy where it's like, okay, you can either do OnlyFans, or as an 18, 19-year-old woman, you can have kids with some conservative guy that's going to take advantage of you, and then he's going
necessarily.
to.
Good
night, Brian.
Hold on.
Yeah, make him pay attention.
Please.
He's taking away. He's stealing your thunder. Okay, start over for the TikTok clip. Go.
Chase is the alpha.
I don't care about the TikTok clip.
should.
You're presenting this dichotomy where it's like, okay, chicks can either do OnlyFans or they can get pregnant, and then they'll get dumped and the relationship will fail. The reality is that is going to be a minority of the population. A lot of the women that are 18, 19, and they want to have kids and they want to have a family, like they can do so successfully. It's not like it's just going to fail every
The
time.
majority of
Wait,
kids
aren't
today
I-
born out of
they're
wedlock.
not
though?
going-
just
they're not
that,
going
but
into
aren't the
a-
rates of divorce for parents who get like married young, like extremely
Wait,
high.
you're acting
versus
like
those that
Again,
wait
virgins
later?
virgins who get married together, their rates of divorce are less than 2%.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, I-
So-
Wait, at
so-
young ages, I don't believe
But
that.
like also Chase is right.
It's regardless of age. You're presenting it as if it's a hopeless scenario for
Yeah.
women that want to have kids with a guy young, but it's not. The scenario that you're describing, while it is a problem, you and I agree on the fatherless home thing. It's a huge issue in society.
Terrible.
Yeah.
You've seen
Terrible
the
problem.
statistics. It increases the likelihood that people are going to end up addicted to drugs, commit suicide,
Homeless.
go to jail.
Be on the
Fatherless
whatever
homes-
podcast. No, I'm
Be on
just
the
kidding.
whatever podcast.
Fatherless homes, they're a big
That's
problem.
us.
But you've been kind of presenting a false dichotomy where it's like,
Of course,
okay,
it's false. There's plenty
it's,
of
it's
situations.
either
I'm not
or.
saying it's the only two. I was just curious. on
Yeah,
the
well,
person.
in addition, I do think that you did generalize conservative women in general.
And
Like, just
conservative
saying-
men.
Okay, let me
Yeah,
try
yeah,
to.
conservative
And also,
men
I think it's
just
important to.
No, I want to. I
Yeah.
want
No,
to
no,
because I
wait.
want to hold that. I want to hold that down. So you really, and this is not like a gotcha internet movement.
Get me
like,
all you want.
I know,
I'm
right?
here to be gotten.
I'm
Go ahead.
here to dominate you, and
Whoa,
you
it's getting a
destroy
little
your
weird.
empire. No. But honestly speaking, you really, in your heart of hearts, believe like a woman who's like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna like apply these conservative values and give it a good go. Like learn to bake. Pack my children's lunch and like do my best. You think a woman who decided to like start an OnlyFans is a way better choice?
What I'm saying is that with the way society is structured right now, for you to decide that you want to be a full-time stay-at-home mom, wife, parent at 18 or 19 is a more radical decision than trying an OnlyFans.
Yeah, I
account.
just
That's
wanted
what I'm
to say,
saying.
like, as a conservative woman, I don't believe in that at all. Like, I'm studying law. I'm
Which
doing
is good,
my
that's
own
fine.
thing.
Yeah.
I'm doing my own thing, right? And it isn't right to generalize all conservative women and say, oh, all they want to do is get married. If I had a husband, yes, I would support him every single way conceivable. I would want to be there for him. I would want to help him with his career. I'd want to make him happy. But at the same time, I think making myself happy would also make him happy.
That's good.
Stephen, you described marriage, like traditional marriage of two young people, or compared it to a woman selling her sexuality. Exactly. Which is, it just shows that you're so desperate to cast marriage in a negative light.
Okay.
Traditional marriage specifically in a negative light by basically calling it a form of prostitution or
Okay.
slavery or subjugation of women. And
Okay.
it's simply not true.
Okay. If you're done with the virtue signaling, so the comparison was
There's
what
no
she
virtue
said,
signaling.
Of
What are
course
you
it was.
talking about?
Do you dare talk about marriage like that? What she said was doing OnlyFans at an early age and opting for that before even trying to get educated or work is a sad thing. And I said, I would say the exact same thing for a woman that at 18 or 19 says, I'm just going to find a man to get married
Why are
to.
you
him.
discrediting that those women have full agency to make a decision
Why are
like
you
that?
discrediting that women that do OnlyFans at 18 or 19 have a full agency to do it?
They absolutely do.
I have been saying that this whole time, that they should be held fully accountable for that decision if they make it.
Yeah, but that's not, we're not talking about whether or not they should be held accountable. We're talking about whether or not it's
I
an
have
acceptable
acknowledged
decision.
that they have full agency,
Oh, well then we
to
have no
do so.
disagreements. I don't know why you're so upset
which
about
is
what I'm
the
saying.
reason that they should be held accountable for it.
Sure, okay, but I don't know what our disagreement is then.
You're comparing the two as you're saying they can be described as the same thing.
I
It's
literally
basically
did
it's
not.
simply
What I
not
said.
true.
Hold
It's
on.
about signing up for a really hard contract that's going to last for a very long time.
Yeah.
Well, same
That's
with
what it
OnlyFans.
is.
That's going to be
Yeah,
forever.
you're
yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Same with
yeah,
OnlyFans.
that's
That's
what
my
we're
whole
saying.
point. That was
Most
my point.
people who get married when they're like 18 and 19 aren't doing it because they're trad. It's because they're like white trash or stupid. So I don't
Whoa,
think
that's not always
Wait,
true.
OnlyFans-
I think
yeah,
it's-
that's not the case
I think
either.
that's definitely true. If you look at
No.
like the pool of people who say got married at age 18 or 19, they're not doing
But there's
it.
also high school sweethearts that get married
Sure.
early.
My
on in
mom
the
is
grade
not
with,
white
I'm simply
trash.
saying, in order
Fight that
to,
guy. Look,
in
he just
order,
doesn't mean it to
in
me,
order
okay?
to make the accurate,
Jesus.
in order to make the accurate comparison, I think you would have to look at young kids who are doing it because they want to make that vow and because they're like trying to be trad or something, instead of like the whole pool of people who got married at that age, which I'm sure a lot of them are regretting it because they're making a mistake. But I think if you have people who are more biblically minded, more traditional, it's going to be more successful on average than the person who takes the route of the OnlyFans. And I think it's also important with the value you're contributing to society. Maybe you made the wrong mistake with your spouse, but you still have a family, have a child, maybe you're miserable, but at least you do have that thing. This is
horrible. You just described
That's so
prison.
bad.
No,
Yeah.
not at all. Absolutely.
Not at all,
he's
because
right.
when you talk about what's like miserable in a marriage,
Like
people
being
are
poor with a
far
child that you
too
can't support, you can't
far-
you can't even support
But it's a
yourself,
beau-
and
it's
no
a
one will
beautiful
love you
thing
ever
to have a
again
child.
because
Statistics,
It's
if
not
you
a
look
beautiful
at,
thing
like,
to be stuck in a
you're a
shitty
single
relationship
mom.
forever.
It's not forever. If you look at like
Maybe not for
couples
you.
who have been like
Would you
people,
marry a single mom?
There's people in
People-
shitty
no,
relationships
absolutely.
with
No,
their children are
exactly.
the light of
You
their
guys marry
lives.
single
Like
mom.
you're,
I
if you
want
have
an
a
answer.
single mom, of course no one is gonna
You-
like want to have her
How
again
did
in
they
that.
become
You
single
are
moms,
describing-
right? Like,
Hey guys,
you're
guys,
signing up for a very long, hard
Hold it down.
contract.
one at a time. Please, one at
You're
a time.
describing marriage as a death sentence where it's like, oh, you're stuck in this miserable marriage. If you look at like couples who have been in abusive scenarios, like alcoholism, gambling debt, cheating, like even abuse in some cases, 80% of those couples report being happier with each other 5 years later. It's a matter of, I think, being able to like stick to it,
Endure,
instead of just immediately being like, I'm unfulfilled. I want to
those are
divorce.
probably the ones that didn't get
happens
divorced,
now.
right?
So,
But I'm just saying that like it's easier
the
to
point
walk.
is
It's
it's
easier
possible.
to walk away from doing OnlyFans at 18 or 19 than it is to have an accidental child with a guy that you end up not.
Why are
being
you
with.
so
also
critical
true.
of conservative arrangements, but the moment somebody brings up your arrangement, you go off on a tangent for about 40 minutes?
Well, I don't recommend my arrangement to other people.
No,
I
Number
wonder-
one.
Promote
Hold on.
it.
Wait. Number two.
Does.
All I'm saying is that with the way the world exists today, there are massive benefits conferred upon you with a college education, right? We need more education today to succeed in the world than we ever have. So making huge life-altering decisions at
From a very
18 or
young
19 is really scary. And to say that like
Hold on. Going to college at 18 or 19 or even younger sometimes is a huge decision with permanent consequences because you're saddling yourself with potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt.
yes, but the aggregate is a $1 million difference earnings potential between you and a high school graduate. It's one of the very few paths in society that is like almost guaranteed to be success. Now, I do agree that it might not be for everybody, in which case I say
Did you
go
say
into the
college
trades.
is almost a guarantee of success?
Yes.
Absolutely.
What does aggregate mean?
Aggregate means that if you calculate all of the earnings of people that graduate from high school, you compare them to all the earnings of people that graduate with a 4-year degree in college,
Yeah.
the aggregate earning is $1 million
Yes.
over the lifetime.
Agreed.
Even for shitty gender studies degrees and your liberal arts degrees, even those people out earn high school graduates.
Well, thank goodness
so-
earlier in the
so can
conversation
we-
we
can-
agreed on the value of going into
Yeah,
the trades.
I agree. But I'm just saying that like with the as complicated as life is today, we're not done learning history at 14 and then running our father's farms and stuff at 15, 16 and then having families at 18, 19.
Fair play.
We kind of need to jump into the world and figure out like what's going on and to make decisions about like having families and all of that. Generally like 18 or 19, you're probably not going to be there to do it. But like in your like early mid 20s, I think you're like more equipped to make that
Can we
decision.
all at the table just like unanimously agree, like probably starting OnlyFans at 18 and 19, not a good idea? Can we agree with
As
that?
long as we can agree that
Is that
starting
okay?
a family at 18, 19, also a bad idea.
That's
Sure,
not true.
sure,
It,
sure,
it
sure.
works out for
Only
people.
because
It works out
society-
because we're like OnlyFans.
OnlyFans too.
Yeah.
Steven,
But
it's
more
only
people-
because
wait, hold on.
society
More
is
people-
structured in a way where that's no longer facilitated for young people who want it.
More
Yeah,
That's
because
the only
women have the
reason.
opportunity to pick good relationships and not just be married off to some guy and have no chance
But
to work or get
Arranged
educated.
marriage doesn't
more
exist today, though.
more
They were
people
far
it does.
happier back
more
then, too.
people fail at having a successful OnlyFans career than they do at like starting a family though.
That's true.
That might be
Yeah,
true.
yeah, you
that
see
might
fat
be true, but the
bitches putting
penalty
their
for
pussy
failing
pics up
OnlyFans is
online.
maybe if you fail. First of all, if you fail OnlyFans, chances are nobody's ever even gonna find your fucking nudes. Okay, because there's a million girls with OnlyFans
And you're
that
not gonna
nobody
use
knows.
your own name
yeah.
either.
Number one.
True.
Number one. But also,
True.
even if they did, the penalty for failing
True.
in OnlyFans is a lot less than the penalty for failing a marriage.
True,
you have
but
a
when
child.
you
I know, but
do
you're-
fail in OnlyFans, it's a gigantic F.
Yeah,
Like,
and when you do
everybody-
fail in marriage, your kid is fucking Ted Bundy or some
At
shit. So
least-
okay, those are pretty
Sure.
phenomenal. Or
Steven,
fucking Hitler.
At
Okay.
least when someone's marriage fails, they were trying to do something good and build something in society that matters. If you fail at doing OnlyFans, you failed at doing something stupid and evil.
Yeah.
If you're
Selfish
trying to
you
build
think
a
OnlyFans is
marriage,
and
evil?
disgusting.
hold on,
think
if you
it's
try to
so-
build a marriage for society, you suck at relationships, and you shouldn't even be trying to have kids. Because what a horrible way to contribute children to the world by saying, "I'm making a better world." You should do it because you love the person, because you want to have a child, and because you have love for that child.
Yeah.